There we go. Thank you. All right, we're going to start. Welcome, everybody, to PIE's committee. And we have a very select group here today, Council Members Zappone and Wilkerson. And we have an extremely full schedule, so I am going to be boom, 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 get these things done. And our first, we'll approve the minutes after we get everybody seated. Mr. Jones, you are up first with the Managerial and Professional Association Collective Bargaining Agreement. Up you go. Thank you.
So move approval of the minutes.
Second, anybody?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you, Council, for the opportunity to present to you the updated Managerial Professional Association Collective Bargaining Agreement for A and B. As many of you know, this was one of our expired agreements that we had that ended in the fiscal year of 2021. And I don't see John Henry on here, but I do want to thank him for all his support on all these collective bargaining agreements and moving us forward. What we have in front of you today, and in your packets, you do have a draft of both A and B contracts, and I would like at this time just to highlight the major change points in those contracts. The first is this would be a contract from 2022 to extending through 2026. And some of the key points when we're looking at this is looking at what puts us back as a city, it being in that competitive market, not only for retaining our great staff that we have here today, but also for recruitment. And also another consideration is around compression. As we look at all the 7 different bargaining agreements that we have within the city of Spokane, what puts us in a good spot as supervisors and managers in the compression with the other bargaining units that either are under consideration or already have been approved. So with the tentative agreement wages, excuse me, in front of you, for M&PA, the COLA rates for 2022 would be 5%, and 23 would be 5%, 24, 4%, 25 would be a 2.5 to 4% depending on CPI bracketing, and then 26 would be a 1 to 3% determining the CPI bracketing. And then with the B group, it would be 5% for 22, 5% for 23, 2.75 for 24. Now the difference here between the two groups of the 4% and the 2.75 is in that year the B would like their personal leave back of 40 hours, and to be able to get that back they're willing to pay that 1.25% in that year to get their personal leave back. That's why you see the difference between the 4 and the 2.75. And then both groups are then consistent on 25 and 26 with 2.5 to 4 or 2.5 to 4 with CPI bracketing, and then 1 to 3 CPI bracketing in 26. We also, a part of both these agreements, agreed for wage study and implementation during the 2023 to 2026. This is important on both sides to look at a wage study. Wage studies would only be in the future, so none of this would be retroactive. So if we came back with a wage study saying you're underpaying your employees by a certain percentage, it would be that moving forward, not looking back. And then also the details of this study would be shared with M&P and labor management as well. We maintain all the existing management right language in both the contracts. Juneteenth has now become a floating holiday, so that's added. Originally, we had 40 hours of floating holidays. Now it would be 48 in both those groups. And then a lot of these other discussions as we're transitioning into HR leadership, getting the HR department back up to staff at full capacity. A lot of these other items we agreed to move into the labor management negotiations rather than in a contract. So those would include teleworking, complaint disclosures, temporary workers, on-call pay, vacation and illness leave banks, health and wellness hours, working out of class and project pay, and then overtime eligible employees. So both groups agreed that we would just put these in a parking lot under labor management. As we are able to get full to capacity, we can have those discussions that are ongoing rather than one time.
So can you describe the difference between labor management negotiations and contract negotiations?
So these would be long-term. So we have labor management meetings. So if a complaint or an issue comes up, we're able to resolve it and then have the points in place to be able to move forward. The contract does lay out as far as complaints, disciplinary actions. We have the structure there. But both John and I felt, and with administration, both groups, we just didn't have the experts in the room at the time to address some of these other ongoing concerns. And so we agreed to just put these in a parking lot list to have those ongoing conversations.
So have they traditionally been subject to contract negotiations then?
I cannot answer that question because this is my
Or
first
maybe,
time.
and I'll follow up with one maybe you also can't answer, which is, will these forever be issues that can be negotiated outside of contract negotiations?
I know within this time period, I know there would be interest, I think, in both parties for a couple of these to at least have some type of overarching understanding of this is how we're going to handle it within a contract.
Okay, thanks.
Eric Garrett. My only request is that you keep council apprised of this going forward, because these are some things that I think some of the council members are going to want to know about going forward. So let's make sure that we communicate thoroughly going forward on these.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And to give you a little bit of the time frame too, so the executive board of M&P did approve both these drafts, so now it's in front of their entire membership for vote. So that started the 14 days, so next week would be the final vote. If it all goes well, I would be asking to put this on the November 7th council for consideration.
Okay. Questions? Anybody?
I love the idea of the wage study. Thank you.
And thank you for not using all of your time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Remember that, and I can bank it next time.
I will.
All right.
I will. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Mr. Piccolo, you're up with lieutenants and captains collective bargaining.
Good afternoon. This one is much easier than the more extensive CBA that Garrett just briefed on. So this is the extension for 2022 on the Lieutenants and Captains Association CBA, similar to what we did with the Police Guild. We knew we had to bring their CBA current for this year, so it's just a one-year agreement, just like the Police Guild. And similar to the Police Guild, once this is approved, the parties will start negotiating the more long-term, more expansive collective bargaining agreement. So this one brings forward for this 1 year and makes a number of housekeeping changes similar to what we made to the one-year Police Guild CBA. So these two CBAs do track each other pretty closely. And the main change on this one is the salary adjustment of 5.5%, which again mimics the same thing for the Police Guild. The lieutenants and captains make a certain percentage of what their counterparts in the Police Guild make. So when they get 5.5% in the Police Guild, they get 5.5% in the Lieutenants and Captains Association, CBA. And this is also scheduled to come forward on November 7th, same night as the M&P. So I'll hopefully get these two CBAs through council before you get deep into budget discussions.
Right.
Any questions?
Questions? All right.
Okay.
We're an easy group today. Thank
All
you,
right.
Mr.
I also
Piccolo.
saved a lot of time, so I'm going to bank that also.
All right, Mr.
Councilmember
Bingle,
Kinnear.
you're on. Yeah. Oh, we
Real-
don't
real-
need any more.
No, but I just wanted to note that item 17 is removed from the agenda.
Yeah, I was going
On
to
the
get to that.
consent-
but
oh, okay.
Thank you. Yes. And Mr. Perkins, I know. See, you were all ready, weren't you? Yeah. Okay. Now, Mr. Bingle.
Yes.
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes, I can do it. So this resolution is just, again, affirming the use and the importance of dams, both in Eastern Washington and in Spokane specifically. It highlights a couple uses that dams have here, being, that over 50% of electricity generated for use in the city of Spokane is through hydropower. How much, the storage of water, all kinds of reasons why, we should keep our dams are in there. So the resolution at the end, basically says that we oppose the destruction of Eastern Washington dams and anything dealing with dams in the city of Spokane, which is, a bit of a response to the Murray and Inslee report that came out that has received some traction at the federal level. And at the end, it also resolves that we should continue to find every way possible to see an increase in fish species and continue to invest in improvements in our dams to where we're not harming native species of fish in the future, and finding ways to invest in that to see those come back. So that's the gist of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Stratton, you have a question.
We talked about this earlier,
Yes.
and if you've answered this, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Did you connect with any of the tribal or the UCUT folks to talk about this?
So I sent this resolution out to a lot of people, all the stakeholders. I have not heard back from everybody yet, but
Okay.
we did send it to Margot Hill. We did send it to UCUT. So we reached out to everybody we thought would have, whether they approved of it or would have opposition to it. We tried to reach out to get
Just
their
provide
thoughts.
some input.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
How time sensitive is this resolution? Because my concern, if we have not heard back from them, would allowing more time for them to respond. We know the tribes do things on their own timeline, not just because of ours. So that would be my question.
Yeah, I certainly want to hear back from them before we move forward. And so if we don't hear back from them in the next couple weeks, I have no problem deferring it for a couple weeks or a month, whatever it is, because again, I don't think anything in this I think it's a very reasonable resolution. And so if that's something that, they responded to me and told me, hey, we'd like a couple more weeks, I'm certainly open to that. Yeah.
Any other questions? Do you have anybody else co-sponsoring with you? Okay. So Councilmember Cathcart is co-sponsoring. Great. Thank you. Next is Shrek Dispatch Ordinance. Council President Beggs, there you are. Hello.
Hello. Yes. This is an ordinance to amend our previous ordinance restricting who can do dispatch for the city of Spokane. It would lift the requirement that it be city employees only on the condition that Shrek grants us 2 seats on the board of governance appointed by council and some other access to real-time audio and video so that we can do quality control. There's some urgency here because our current fire dispatch unit is set to be disbanded on November 1st, and there's an MOU pending, which we're going to hear about today. It does not include some of these factors like the board seats, and so my understanding, we'll hear more, that the lawyers are hammering that out so that we would have that before we voted on it tonight.
And so you don't have more information on the board seats or both the items you talked about yet? Mr. Perkins, we don't have that.
Yeah. I don't. I haven't checked my email in the last 45 minutes, so it could
So
be.
Mr.
but
Perkins is here,
nothing's
maybe he
worked.
has.
Yeah.
Council President Pro Tem Johnny Perkins, City Administrator, members of City Council. Yes, they are working on that language now. We are in support of, as the administration, of the 2 seats. One would be appointed by the mayor, the other would be by the City Council. It's Shrek's request that it just cannot be an elected official. But other than that, we are supportive of the mayor having an appointee, which would, in our case, be the fire chief in all likelihood.
Are there other elected officials on Shrek board?
There's one council member bingo, and that happens to be the sheriff. But
Okay, and that will remain?
that
on
will
Shrek
remain.
board?
He will be the only member of the board who's an elected official on there going forward.
Yeah, I guess I would have a question then as to why, one of our elected officials would not be able to sit on if, they can have an elected official sitting on that board, but we can have this discussion another time, but
And I can answer that. This has been going on a long time.
yeah.
And we had that conversation way back when, and we decided that it would be the best interest of the board of Shrek, of everybody going forward, that we not add more political juice to that organization. And because the sheriff is also a public safety official and happens to be elected, he's got some crossover there. And we could have had Chief Meidel, could have had Chief Meidel or Chief Schaefer. So it's kind of toss-up. Honestly, does any one of us want to have another?
No, I really don't. I just want to make sure that the city of Spokane is well represented on that board.
Correct. Go ahead,
that's
Council
it.
President.
Yeah, I just wanted to lend my support to you, Councilmember Bingle. I totally agree with you. But at this point, we're just trying to get seats on the board. And then once we have seats on the board, then we can make those contentions to equalize it. So, thanks.
I just want to make a comment. Is Johnny still here? Did he leave? Oh, I just wanted to say that, and I don't think I'm the only council member, but truly for the last 6-8 months, we have sent emails. I never get a response for the person in charge of Shrek. While I've studied all of this and I'm trying to make sure that we're making good, safe decisions for customers, one of the things that some of us have asked is data relating to response times, meaning when somebody picks up the phone and calls, how long is it until assistance shows up at the door?
At the right address.
At the right address. I just want publicly to say we have gotten no response. I've had a couple people trying to get me information, but it feels like we've been shut out of that information. I don't know why, but if there's anything you can do, because I want to make sure as we're making these decisions, because these are big decisions, that Shrek dispatchers can take calls and dispatch help to the person that needs it as quickly as the fire dispatch has done in the past. But I'm guessing that we've never gotten a number. And I guess I just want City Council to know, if we're giving the respect of reading all of this and trying to understand the changes, trying to get seats on the board, I would ask for the same respect that when we contact somebody at Shrek, that they at least have the professional courtesy to text us back, email us back, whatever. But I got nothing from them, and so I'm doubling up on this. I really want to know response times.
Well, I can't speak for Shrek, and I'm certainly not going to own that, but I will reach out and make sure that the information, we have asked for that information before and received that, so I will find out what the gap in communication is there and why you're not getting that.
Well, I know you know people, so that's why
Not sure about that,
that's why I
Councilmember,
laid
but
this on you.
appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Thanks.
Our city attorney, did you have a?
Yes, sorry. I was trying to come downstairs in time for your discussion here. I'm in contact with the Shrek Council. I spoke with Council President this morning, so I'm trying to get those updates that I think you're talking about right now, trying to get those added to the MOU. You will probably have a new copy of the MOU by 3:30 or so. And so I'm trying to incorporate those requests. And Commissioner Stratton, or Councilmember Stratton, sorry, we did have a meeting with Shrek, and they say that they have a 97% rate in their, I guess, dispatch rate. They say that all that's published, so I think there are probably numbers out there online and published, but we can definitely track those down. And I agree, when you make a phone call and ask for those numbers, it should be, you should be responded to.
Well, and the problem is when you ask for information and you don't get it, it makes you start wondering, what am I not getting, or what don't they want to share with me? I just think professional courtesy, if we're going to make these big moves, that we should at least have a part in this, and we should at least have people responding to questions. That's all I'm asking.
And we agree, Councilmember Stratton, collaboration and partnership are key words there, and we have been getting that information previously when requested, so that gap will be closed immediately.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well, we have these two people right here in front of us. Council President, thank you. Did you have anything else to add? Okay.
Yeah, and I'll get the newest copy as soon as I get it to review.
Great, thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Council President, did you have a co-sponsor?
You are listed as the
Oh,
co-sponsor.
what do you know?
Would you like to continue co-sponsoring? or-
Sure. Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now we have Assistant Chief Lundgren up for Police SBO for 8 police radio dispatch. And Assistant Chief Lundgren, you and I have talked about this, and you make a compelling argument, so I encourage you to make that argument today.
Absolutely, and good afternoon. We were advised by Shrek, due to their current staffing levels, that they are no longer going to be able to provide 911 call screening services in the same way that they have for the SPD for the last, since their inception. A call will come into the primary Peace app, which is Shrek. They will answer the call, and then they build out the call. They ask the questions about, is the call in progress? Are there weapons involved? What is the location? What are the description of the people involved? And they get names and other background information and build that call out, and they transfer that over to our dispatchers. Effective October 31st, we are going to be providing, we're going to be required to provide a lion's share of that service. So they will receive the call, they'll verify the location, the jurisdiction, the type of emergency, and then our dispatchers are going to be required to gather a lot of the information that had previously been done by Shrek. So to kind of put that into scope, about 54% of all 911 calls in the county are SPD calls. Not 54% of law enforcement calls, but all calls, fire and law together, are for our agency, which equates to about 18 calls per hour. So this is going to be a tremendous workload that is going to be required, and a shift of duties and responsibilities. When we look at peak times, the average over the past 4 years for peak calls the average peak calls for service per hour, it ranges anywhere from 167 is the maximum at, it looks like 9 o'clock p.m. To the lowest level of maximum calls for services at 3 in the morning at 32. So we have to be staffed and able to handle both the peak call volume as well as the average call volume in dispatch. So currently we're looking at different ways to shift the responsibilities, because we aren't going to be able to take on all of that work with dispatchers at this point. However, we're here today to ask for an SBO to hire an initial 8 dispatcher ones that will help to do this call processing. And as there are 8 fire dispatch personnel that are currently separating from the city, and some have expressed interest in coming over to work for the police department, this will provide those positions to allow that to happen as well. And I'd be glad.
Could you go, you mentioned when we were speaking, you talked about the difference between police and fire in that police have to rely on those dispatchers every step of the way as they're going to their calls and while they're at the call. It's not as fire, and you put it so eloquently, fire, the fire doesn't move.
Right.
And so, can you
Yes, Councilmember. So in police activity, we have locations that move. We have people that run away from police officers, and we have police officers spread over a jurisdictional area that are out looking for things to become involved in, and sometimes things evolve really quickly. And those dispatchers are the safety net to make sure that we get resources to those officers who are out in the field to be able to make sure that they're safe when they are on a call for service or after they've engaged in some sort of self-initiated activity. So the eyes and ears of a dispatcher, they're keeping track and doing status checks on all these different officers who are spread out across the area that they're responsible for.
Thank you. That's good stuff. Go ahead.
So I'm just confused about one thing. So let's say I need a police officer, I call 911, and so Shrek answers that first initial call, and they get the the general information, and then send it to a police dispatcher, right?
Correct.
So are we being charged by Shrek for them picking up that phone and getting that information?
So that is a question that I would defer to our chief financial officer. I would say that my understanding of the funding for those services is through a 911 excise tax that provides funding for that call center. The confusing thing, one thing that kind of conflates this issue, is Shrek has a call center that accepts both crime check and 911 calls, and it's the same people who are doing both of those activities. But I do believe that they're funded through separate mechanisms, and so it's a shared cost for that function, for that call center. Part of it is 911, part of it is the 1/10 of 1% for emergency communications, and then potentially part of it could be member dues for the members of Shrek.
Council President, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to weigh in on this. So for years, the first call taking and the secondary call taking that we're now being asked to take over was paid for with 911 revenues that our city taxpayers paid for, and it was just included in the 911 system. And now we got a notice basically from the county that said if we want them to keep doing what they've been doing for years, they're going to charge us an extra $3 million. And I don't think they're charging that extra money to the sheriff's office, even though it would be the same thing. And so our department had to decide, are we going to pay $3 million, even though we're already paying our share of the 911 taxes, or are we going to have to staff our own for less than that? And it is a dilemma. I don't know if we can go back to the legislature, because it seems like retaliation from our last bill. But it is a problem, and it's not a problem that the police department created at all. Yeah. And I just want to support them in this effort to try to take care of our people, even though this financial resource has been kind of yanked away from us.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilmember Wilkerson.
Totally support, but I'm surprised, again, this is my bottom of the ninth scenario that I use all the time now. Were these conversations not started back in the spring with Shrek that this was going to happen? And so if those conversations had started, how did we all of a sudden get here? And again, October 31st is the deadline. And those fire dispatch folks, I'm sure, are highly trained, but would they be trained to immediately go over and start doing the work of a police dispatch? What that bridge and that training would look like? So what happened to the dead cat on the line about the communications of this coming down the pike? Why hadn't it been brought to us sooner than this? And we're scrambling, so I'm a little challenged. I support it, but I'm a little frustrated that here we are now, and it wasn't addressed sooner than what we're addressing at this point in time, with some other questions that have not clearly been answered yet.
So those are both really good questions. I appreciate that. We first received the request, or the force choice, back in May of there really are two options and two pathways. Either or, we could contribute another $3.1 million to Shrek, or we would have to carry on and do this, provide this service ourselves starting January 1, where that was how the communications began. So the chief and I did meet with Shrek leadership. There were conversations. We requested some additional information, some breakdowns of costs to try and clarify, like the council president had asked, where is the funding coming from? How did this calculation of $3.1 million even come to be? We didn't have a clear understanding of what that paid for. And so we weren't able to receive a satisfactory answer to some of our questions. Now, at some point, everybody is suffering staffing shortages, and at some point, Shrek notified us that they would no longer be able, even if we had $3.1 million, they wouldn't be able to provide the service any further, particularly with onboarding of the fire department dispatch. And so that being said, it didn't align with our budgeting cycle. Had we agreed, if we could have identified where that $3.1 million, where that request was coming from, and if we agreed that that was a fair request, it didn't align with our budgeting cycle to come to you for next year's budget and be able to ask for an additional $3.1 million in time to respond to their requests. So it was a very short time frame that we had to deal with. And to your second point, the fire dispatchers are on a different CAD system, so you're absolutely correct. They're going to need some training to come over to be able to operate the police CAD. However, they have very valuable skills in communicating with people who are in crisis on the other end of the phone. So we are excited at the opportunity if any of them are interested in bringing them on.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I need another, okay, Mr. Bingle. And is Dave Steele here or on the line for the next?
I'm here.
Oh, hi, thanks. You're going to be talking about the Police Academy remodel, so you can go ahead.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council members, Council Chair. I have to apologize for not being there in person, but hopefully this conveys the information. So this first item is the Spokane Police Department Academy restrooms. This is a remodel of both the men's and women's. We're bringing them up to kind of current ADA standards, replacing countertops, replacing all of the dividers between the stalls, replacing porcelain items, doing replumbing to adjust spacing. We've got a stall in each restroom that is actually, they're functionally useless if you're wearing a utility belt. We're doing floors, new wiring for outlets, lighting. It's the full gamut from head to toe. I understand there were some questions around funding that we've resolved by facilities is contributing dollars that we have that are unencumbered right now. Jeff was looking at our budget and going, well, we want this project to be able to go forward and to kind of clean it up and get the process rolling. We wanted to partner with SPD on that. So the rest of those dollars do come from SPD 2022 budget lines, is my understanding.
Questions? Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, it's Karen. You're not going to be surprised that this question is coming from me.
What high school did he go to?
What about, has anybody talked about a need? Do they, we went through the whole baby changing stations here in City Hall for our restrooms. What about the police training facility? Is that included in the study of what needs to be done, or is that something that somebody should look at?
It's not included. That would be that's a great item to bring up. It's a fairly simple ad that we kind of discovered once we worked through the process at City Hall and realized that there was a more effective scenario than trying to completely rearrange everything. If that is something that we feel is necessary, it's not a public-facing function, but maybe that's a perfectly, there is space. It's not a space consideration. So
Yeah, I was just thinking of employees that might have to bring kids to
Train.
to work or to train.
we could definitely make sure that's added.
Yeah, so keep that in your mind.
Well, not the kids, but if a mother should come back to work within her 3 or 4 months and is still
Right.
breastfeeding, that would be an issue to go forward.
Dave, while we have, any other questions about this topic? Okay. Dave, while we have you there, do you want to do the contract for the Trent shelter?
That would be outstanding. So thank you again for having me. So the contract for the Trent Street Shelter provides the architectural and engineering work necessary to design the restroom, shower, laundry facilities, and then do the pod layout with the specs for the wall placement. This gets us all the way through to cost estimating and a bid package. Right now, we don't have a good number for what those costs will be. The construction costs, the A&E work is fairly streamlined, but it was an interesting challenge to present to a lot of folks because they looked at it and we had several architects turn us down because they weren't interested in what they considered residential work, even though I pointed out it's far more like a sports arena locker room than it is anything else. So with this architect, like I said, it gets us all the way through a bid package and a cost estimate. So at that point, we would put it out through our normal purchasing procurement process, and then come back with whatever the lowest bid is. So.
Councilmember Stratton has a question, and then Councilmember Cathcart.
Okay, Dave, so I'm on a roll. Bear with me. I'm just wondering, you may not be the person, we may have people here in the audience that can answer. As far as costs for these plans and the actual restrooms, have we gotten any kind of commitment from Hello for Good or any of these downtown businesses to help us cover the costs of this improvement? Do we know yet?
Mr. Perkins is coming forward.
And can I add on to that, Department of Commerce? That was my question.
And Department of Commerce? Yeah.
Council members, Johnny Perkins again, City Administrator. I'm actually having a meeting with the Department of Commerce tomorrow afternoon. I believe it's at 4:30 on this very topic related specifically to TRAC and the potential funding from Commerce. Question regarding the business community, other than what we initially received for tenant improvements for funding, no. We have not had any additional outreach nor anyone step forward with any additional thoughts to fund activities at TRAC that I'm aware of.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. But Hello for Good did not pay for the tenant improvements, just the owner of the building.
That is correct.
Okay, so Hello for Good and the business community has not done any philanthropic contributions.
As it relates specifically to TRAC, that's the building owner who paid for the tenant improvements. Yes, sir. And I will report back to you on my discussions with Commerce. I'm very hopeful on that.
Thank you. Anybody else want to ask anything from Mr. Steele or Mr. Perkins? All right. Dave Steele, thanks so much. Appreciate your time. Mr. Perkins, thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
All right. Michelle Murray, we have SBO for Hotel Motel Tax Fund. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, council members. This is just a house cleaning SBO item that is revenue and budget neutral so that we can continue to pay the facilities district funds that we collect for hotel motel tax. It's just giving us the ability to bring the money in and then funnel it right back out to them.
Do we know what the amount is?
I asked for 1.5 million. I went back over the last couple of years, excluding 2022 and 2021, to get an average of what we didn't pay to them in the last quarter.
Any other questions? Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Can we just confirm,
sorry.
council members Wilkerson and Stratton, you're listed as sponsors on that?
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Hannah Lee. I don't know what I'd do without you. Report on breakdown of street maintenance projects, and that would be Catherine Miller and Clint Harris. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Hannah Lee, could I help you? Have you help me get the PowerPoint up?
All you need to do now is just pull it up on screen and go through it. You don't need to share it or anything. We're streamlining.
Thank you for the streamline. Good afternoon, Council. Request, I believe, came from Council President. A report to break down between the street maintenance projects that are being accomplished with our city forces versus outside contracts. So when we're talking about street maintenance, it breaks down basically to 3 to 4 times the amount of contracted work to city work. I hope that is the question being asked with the answer we have here. If there's any questions.
Council President, is this what you were looking for?
Yeah, but could you email that around to us?
Not a problem. Not a problem. And just.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. We went a little further, just in case you were curious. This is just everything we do in the streets, contracted work versus our street forces. So it goes to 5.5 to 6 times the amount of contracted work to city forces work. So I'll get that on email out to everybody.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, would it be possible to calculate what, if we had done all that work internally, what it would have cost us? Would it be a higher price or a lower price than going out to a contractor?
There are state laws that you can't do certain size projects over a certain amount have to go out and
Okay.
can't be done by city forces. So we can do that exercise for you, but again, there's.
Wouldn't be apples to apples?
Exactly, would not be
Gotcha.
apples to
Okay,
apples.
thank you.
You bet.
Is that, what is that limit? What is that?
70? I'll get the number for you too. I've been around too long. It used to be 70, it's probably higher now. Anyhow.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could explain kind of the reason for the differences between internal and external. So like, is it just that limit, like?
Truly. And we have a lot going on as well. Obviously, this is street maintenance work. We do a lot more work out there that's beyond street maintenance that we do, the full rebuilds and obviously the red light camera work. Anyhow, all that work goes out to contract work. And obviously, a lot of that work is specialized, if you will. Our city crews are specialized in the street maintenance, not necessarily a concrete or other types of work. So it makes sense that we have the contracted work out there.
Anybody else?
I'm going to call Clint out really quick. I want to thank him for, he has always been so good answering emails from constituents that
Ditto.
call.
Yep.
And every time I see you, I thank you, but I want to thank you publicly because the emails are, you're quick to respond, and they may not always agree with your answer, but you're professional, and it feels great to know that when our constituents have issues with streets or questions, that we can send them to you and you take care of them. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And you're thorough. So
And you're
that is
thorough.
that is very much appreciated. So.
Can I
yes.
add a quick story on that?
Sure.
So, yeah, we got an email of somebody riding their bike. There was a lip in an area that they hadn't expected there to be a lip. Person fell, and so they told us, hey, by the way, there's a lip here. And so I forwarded that off, and literally next day it was fixed. So,
Yeah,
You guys rock. Thank you.
you do, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right. So, Mr. Piccolo, you're up again with the Shrek Local 29 Letter of Agreement and SBO for fire dispatch.
Yes, and I have Chief Schaefer and Assistant Chief Williams with me this afternoon to help answer any questions. So part of the process of transitioning city fire dispatch employees to Shrek is to negotiate the impacts with Local 29 because the city is getting out of this business and contracting for what was done by union employees. So we have to negotiate with Local 29, which we have done. So this letter of agreement was specifically negotiated between the city and Local 29 representatives, which we have to negotiate with the Local 29 elected officials, their membership, their representatives. So this touches on 4 areas, again, impacting the non-firefighter fire dispatch employees. The uniform employees are going back into uniform positions pursuant to civil service process. So these are the non-uniform firefighter employees. So the 4 areas, so the city agrees to pay all the impacted employees and a taxable payment, one-time payment of their unpaid wages for regular scheduled shifts that they would have worked from November 1st through the end of the year, December 31st, at their respective rate of pay. Second one is the same impacted employees will be paid all of their accrued sick leave banks at the respective rate at the amount of the banks existed on October 31st. So the last shift will occur that evening, October 31st, at which point the transition will occur to Shrek. The third is the city agrees to pay the impacted employees who are not on probation the $15,000 one-time payment that was agreed to in the CBA with Local 29 that the council approved earlier, I believe during the summer. Then the fourth item is the city agrees to pay all the impacted employees a one-time lump sum payment of the cost equivalent of the city's share of the health insurance cost that the city would be paying from November 1st through the end of the year. So those 4 specific financial items were negotiated with Local 29 and agreed to in this letter of agreement.
Go ahead.
So I guess totaling all that up, would the average amount be somewhere in the $20,000 to $30,000 range that each of these employees would be getting?
That would be realistic because you start off with $15,000.
Right.
And then some of them could have significant sick leave accrual, and plus their wages for that 2-month period, which is about 4 paychecks, plus the city's equivalent of what we would contribute to their insurance.
And are these specific points, were these negotiated in the contract negotiations with Local 29, or are these negotiated after the fact?
This was negotiated after the fact. So in the agreement in the CBA, it provided for the $15,000 amount with the agreement that the transition would not occur any sooner than January 1st, 2023. However, things changed since that point with the governor's proclamations coming to an end November 1st. So that caused the parties to come back together and specifically negotiate this letter of agreement, which is a negotiated collective bargaining agreement. It's, in essence, an amendment, an addendum to the larger multi-year CBA.
And is there precedence for this? Have we done this before when we've transitioned something away from the city, cut a department or contracted out certain work to another agency? Is there a precedence that we would pay $20,000 to $30,000 per employee?
No, I'm not familiar with any previous situations involving the city. I would add that when a government entity transitions away from a function that was performed by represented employees, that is a significant event. And sometimes, and you're probably always going to end up in labor disputes, but sometimes the city or the county or whoever would just simply get out of that activity, that business. We're not doing that activity anymore. Here we are negotiating that transition to SHREC, so that has to be negotiated with Local 29. And it is a fairly significant event when a city or a county gets out of doing an activity that was previously performed by represented employees.
Council President, did you have a comment? Okay. You look pensive. All right. Anybody else have questions or comments? Mr. Piccolo. I have one sponsor. Need one more. Okay.
Sorry, was that Councilmember Bingle?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Mr. Williams, Assistant Chief Williams. And what? Yes. Oh, okay. MOU between City of Spokane and SHREC.
Good afternoon,
Mr.
everybody.
Levin.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me again. And I know that everybody, we have distributed the MOU. I think everybody has looked at it. As I stated just a little bit ago, there will be some additions, I'm hoping. I have yet to hear from their council. Their council is speaking with SHREC at 1 o'clock, so that's why things are kind of progressing quickly. But yes, there's a section that Council President requested. I've asked them to add that to the MOU. I'm hoping that some version of that is added. I did get a copy of their Exhibit A. I just received that when I left the council chambers, came back. I will distribute this as well so everybody can see. And this is their description of services. And this is exactly lays out what they are going to provide by way of answering dispatch calls. So I'll disseminate that as quickly as I can as well.
Go ahead.
You mentioned a piece was requested to be added. Can you just describe what that is? I'm just not familiar.
Yes, it's based on the board members. So in our conversations, we were going to get 2 more people on the SHREC board.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's just the way that those are going to be allocated.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so were you aware of what the request was? And it's in the ordinance that we're passing tonight.
And that's just that we would have two members, one appointed by the admin,
Exactly.
one by a council.
Exactly, yes, exactly. So I spoke with their council probably 11 a.m. this morning to discuss that, and he was going to get back to me as soon as he can. So I'm waiting for the email any minute.
Council President, did you have any comment?
Yeah, just, the other, read in the ordinance, but there's also a piece that our higher administration can get access to actual calls for quality control purposes so that they can make sure that our residents are being served well. And also then for them to provide monthly reports directly to Councilmember Stratton of what the time is between call and dispatch.
Let me take notes. I'll write that in, Council President. Council President, I did have a question about that, the 30 days. I know that they back everything up for 90 days. Is that okay with you, or how does that look? What were you exactly looking for?
Well, we put the 30 days in as a courtesy to them because we didn't know how long they backed it up, so it could be longer. But one of the things that's come up since we put that in is we want to make sure that our requests are fulfilled promptly. So we don't want to wait 90 days to get a copy of the audio. We want to get it promptly. So I'm not sure how to put some language in there that the lawyers will agree to that communicates that.
Sure, I'll discuss that with them. No, I get it now. I didn't really know what that section was about, but for quality control and so we can assess how things are going, I think that's fair. So yeah. I'll kind of address, I'll look at that and see what we can do.
Other questions for Mr. Okay.
And just to be clear, Council President, they hold everything for 90 days. We can get it in days. We do it on the police side with domestic violence calls, and we get it within days. So yeah, that should not be an issue, but definitely we'll flesh that out too.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
That is the end of our agenda.
How'd you do that?
How did I do that?
I don't know.
Too fast. Too fast.
Magic. Too fast, too fast. Our next meeting, PIE's meeting, is November 28th. I think that's after Thanksgiving. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And we will see you all here at 3:30. It's going to be very short because we have no meeting next week.
Maybe they'll turn the heat up.
And maybe they'll turn the heat up.
you guys
So
cold?
thank you all, and meeting is adjourned.
I think there was a lot of
Tempted to go get it.
substitutions.